Hello, my name is Kim. I used to have a wonderful family and a life that everyone desired, but it was all taken away from me because of a single blunder. I married when I was turning 20 years old. It was quite early, but I had my reason for doing that. Alex, my husband, was a perfect man. He was a kind and nice man. He was also a very talented and well-known interior designer. From our first meeting, I was impressed with Alex and my heart was beating for him. He was my man. However, we had quite an age gap. Alex was 20 years older than me, but it couldn't stop our love. Looking into Alex's eyes on our wedding day, I saw a bright future ahead of me. It was true that my husband and I had a happy life in our early marriage, especially after our first child, Lavelle. Although we were both very busy with our jobs, Alex and I tried to spend as much time as we could with our family. We wanted Lavelle to have the best childhood possible with both his parents. But when my son was 4, my husband acted very strange. He turned cold and lost interest in his family. He spent the majority of his time at the company. Even when at home, he would spend the entire night in his office. Alex used to be the one who picked Lavelle up from kindergarten because he got out of work earlier than I did. But it seemed like he made Lavelle my entire responsibility these days. I could only ask him to pick up our son when I was too busy. But it didn't help much since my husband would then drop our son at home, then went straight to work, letting Lavelle freely make a mess around the house. When I got home one day, I was terrified to see Lavelle climbing on the second-floor balcony. He was standing unsteadily and he was about to fall to the ground. Fortunately, I arrived in time to bring him inside. After that, I yelled at Alex for his ignorance and irresponsibility, but he simply apologized and quickly returned to his workroom. Alex didn't remember our wedding anniversary. He left me in charge of everything around the house. He didn't even say anything to me. In a week, the longest sentence he would say to me would be, "Don't disturb me." Alex was no longer interested in our intimate life. To avoid me, he always made excuses such as being tired or busy at work. A kiss between us became increasingly rare. His coldness irritated and perplexed me. Thousands of questions about this unusual change raced through my mind. Perhaps he no longer loved me? I spoke with Anna, my coworker. We were very close and frequently shared things in our lives. Anna was a little older than me and had been married for 10 years. Anna, I hoped, could offer me some advice. After pondering, she began to have some ideas. Anna advised me to purchase some sexy lingerie and showed me some internet tricks for attracting my husband. And lastly, you couldn't forget these 2 magic pills. Anna winked at me and handed me some Viagra pills. I embarrassingly received them. I wasn't sure if her tricks would work, but it was worth a shot. The following weekend, I secretly planned a romantic evening for my husband. I was hoping Alex would understand my feelings and that it would save our relationship. I wanted him to be the way he used to be. To ensure the plan's success, I secretly slipped Viagra into Alex's wine glass. When everything was ready, I was looking forward to his reaction. But contrary to my expectations, he still seemed normal. He smiled and excused himself to work in his office. I almost lost it. I wanted to save this marriage, but it appeared to be hopeless. After that, I desperately asked Anna's advice again. I tiredly told her about what happened the night before and my suspicion that he was getting dry. You see, my husband was 20 years older than me. As I was entering the prime of my life, he was slowly getting old. Is it a reason for all this mess? Anna, on the other hand, had a different idea. Are you sure Alex still loves you? Anna gave me a skeptical look. I froze because she could be correct. Not because I hadn't considered it, but because I didn't want to believe it was true. Would you like to know the truth? Anna interrupted my thoughts with an offer. How, though? I inquired, intrigued. Anna whispered her plan into my ear. She suggested that I hire a call girl to seduce him, and if he fell for that girl and agreed to sleep with her, he no longer loved me and had probably cheated before. That's insane! When I heard the plan, I screamed. But it's the best way. Anna shrugged her shoulders. I couldn't get any work done that day. My mind was full of Anna's words. If what she said was true, I was a fool to believe in my husband. Finally, to discover the truth, I decided to listen to Anna. I knew it was crazy, but I just wanted the truth. So, following Anna's advice, I went to a bar that was well known for that kind of service. I hired a sexy blonde girl to flirt with my husband. I brought her home and informed my husband that she was going to be our new housekeeper. Alex didn't have any doubt or question. He quickly returned to his office after introducing her to work. After ensuring that everything was in order, I excused myself and headed outside, arranging them to be together. I returned a short time secretly later and hid in front of the house. I texted the girl and told her to execute the plan. When she received my signal, she began approaching Alex and using her body to seduce him. However, my husband was unconcerned about her and was preoccupied with his sketch draft. When she saw no reaction, she began to engage in more flirtation, such as letting her hands roam all over him. My husband grabbed her hand and yanked it away from his body. He led her out of the house angrily without giving her a chance to say anything else. They noticed me standing outside the door as they walked out. I didn't have time to change my hiding spot because everything happened so quickly. We all silently exchanged glances. I was sure that my plan had failed and Alex was aware of it. But instead, he hurriedly tried to explain to me that he didn't have any filthy intention with that girl. After that, I changed the subject so Alex wouldn't suspect me of setting everything up. My head was again filled with so many thoughts. I was relieved because my husband wasn't a cheater, but I still didn't understand why he was so cold to me. I inquired, but Alex smiled and assured me that everything was still fine between us. No way! Nothing was fine. Our marriage was on the verge of being destroyed, and I needed to do something to save it. To do it, I came up with a crazy idea without knowing that it would change my life forever. Stay tuned for the next video to find out how the story ends.